Right.
But,
okay, so I mean, perhaps you're talking about experts that appeared on court TV. But
yeah.
I'm talking about what actually was presented in trial. Now, I will say also, I'm going to take issue with this, is that even Judge Cannoni agreed that Marie Russell had a methodology. That's why we had a 2-day Daubert hearing. And she did say it was a close call, but she agreed that there's a methodology, and Marie Russell said it's pattern recognition analysis, and Brennan tried to look at each one individually, and that's not how patterns work. So, I mean, again, to me, sitting in my seat, I see an expert saying these are dog marks. The prosecution doesn't put out a expert, and you and I both know about causation. When you're talking about causation, you need a medical doctor to be able to opine about that, and maybe we'll get to Crosby and that problem later. But
that's fair. That's fair.
In terms of medical doctor opining on causation or lack of causation, you need a medical doctor, and there was no medical doctor the prosecution presented that would say that they're not dog bites, which to me, again, shows that there's reasonable doubt here. Maybe there was some sort of a dog, and I can't tell you where, what, when, and how, but I'm just looking at the body, looking at the evidence, and saying, hey.
Let me address what you're saying. So I got to give you credit for something, which is you've exposed weaknesses in Hank Brennan's case. It was not a perfect, flawless case. I said at the beginning of the trial that every big major media case, every side is going to make 3 small mistakes and 1 big mistake. And one of the small mistakes that Hank Brennan did was that.
We'll talk about the big mistakes.
I make tons of mistakes. I only make mistakes. I get lucky. I promise you. But yeah, it's a mistake to do it. He would have convinced himself that he needed to have a more short, concise, case in chief, which, as is evidenced by the fact, I think he brought in half the witnesses from the prior trial, half or close to half. But based on the interviews of the jurors after that, I don't recall any of them saying that they thought it was a dog. Again, we were all convinced it was a dog, all of us, including me, a year before the first trial started. And me after that, after listening to experts, if not testifying in court, like talk about the case publicly, I forget the type of expert that is right in line with it. It's not because Dr. Marie Russell is a doctor, is an ER doctor. I agree with you that she was brought in by Judge Beverly Cannoni, but there's a level above that. I forget the type of expert on dog. I forget the name.
A dog behavior expert like Crosby?
Not a dog behavior expert. No.
Because Crosby, he could have called Crosby. He could have done it. Even though you and I both know that only medical